Today we are going to talk about similes. What is a simile? A simile is a comparison of one thing to another, using the words as if, and like. They help add more description to something and gives a word picture in one's mind. So, for example, instead of saying the paper is light, as in weight, we can use a simile to compare and say the paper is light as a feather. While the paper is not a feather, obviously, the paper is about the same weight as a feather. So we can compare the two and say that the paper is light as a feather. In this sentence, as a feather would be our simile. So, as I said earlier, we can use as if, and like to make similes. For our first one, we're going to look at the word as. In this example, we have Mark ran as fast as lightning. We can see our subject is Mark, and the verb is ran. How did Mark run? He ran fast. But how fast? He ran as fast as lightning. Fast here describes how Mark ran, and lightning is what the subject is being compared to. So Mark is being compared to lightning because they are both fast. So we can use the words as to make a simile. Mark ran as fast as lightning. We can use this general rule. As, adjective or adverb, as what the subject is being compared to. Let's look at another example. Mark ran as slow as a snail. So here we have our adjective, we have our adverb describing how Mark ran. And here we have what Mark is being compared to, a snail. So Mark ran as slow as a snail, which must be pretty slow. Let's take a look at another example. She is as pretty as a rose. Although she is not a rose, she is still as pretty as one. So she is being compared to a rose. So we can use a simile, as pretty as a rose, to help describe her. She is as pretty as a rose. Our next one is the words as if. So let's take a look. Lucy swam as if a shark was in the ocean. Now in this sentence, it does not necessarily mean that there was a shark in the ocean, but nonetheless, she swam probably pretty fast, as if there was a shark in the ocean. Let's look at another example. He was quiet, as if he was a mouse. He is being compared to a mouse, and we know that a mouse can be pretty quiet, so it is safe to say that he was quiet as a mouse. Another example. It rained as if buckets of water was being poured out of heaven. And now let's look at our last word, like. He ate like a hungry bear. He is being compared to a hungry bear. And when bears are pretty hungry, they eat quite a bit. So he's being compared to a hungry bear. Let's look at our last example. The stars shined like diamonds. While the stars are not like diamonds, they can sort of similar look like diamonds that are in the sky. So stars are being compared to diamonds. So now we know how to make a simile.